What is up, everyone? Alex here with another champion skin tier list, this time on everybody's favorite demonic clown, Shaco. He's a champion that I feel 100% confident saying that everybody who doesn't play Shaco consistently, they absolutely hate this man. He's an absolute menace, but it is October, and I did promise spooky champs this month, so here we are. I really hope nobody has a fear of clowns. Before we begin, go ahead and like the video. I just don't trust you to do it at the end, that's all. I have trust issues, you know how it is. As usual with the tier list, we start out by putting the base skin at the top of C tier. Base skins will always be at the top of C tier, no matter what. Anything better just goes up a tier automatically. Here's my hot take though. I don't actually like Shaco's base look that much. So one of two things is about to happen. We're either about to rank a whole bunch of mid, and it's all going to hover around the C and B tier because Shaco's skins as a whole just aren't that great, or we're about to see a bunch of skins just absolutely blow the base model out of the water. So let's do a quick overview and see what we're working with today. All of Shaco's skins in order of release, starting with the OG Mercury Poisoned Shaco. Royal Fool, the one where Riot is already using the joke I would have used. Spare Part Shaco. More insane Shaco. The one where he's feeling a little more festive. Evil, hysterically cackling okay, even more so hysterically cackling Shaco. Eldritch Space God Shaco. The unholy spawn of a bard multi-classing as a sorcerer. Saturday morning cartoon villain. Winter Wonderland. And last but not least, we have fighting game / comic book Shaco. And then also the fancy version. Quite a few skins to look at today, so we got to get started, or I'm just going to keep rambling on and on and on, because that is what I do, ladies and gentlemen. First up, we have Mad Hatter Shaco. So here's how you know Shaco's old as hell. He didn't even release with a skin. To be fair though, a lot of champions are like that, surprisingly enough. This skin came out 6 whole months after his release, all the way back in 2010, and god damn it, I just forgot how old I am. Awesome. The skin is obviously old, that's where I'm getting with this. I feel like Alice in Wonderland was a much bigger deal back in the early 2010s with those Johnny Depp movies and those horribly dark Alice in Wonderland games. I don't really want to look up the release dates of those things because if I'm wrong and they came out earlier, I'm going to feel even older and I'm just going to get really depressed. Unfortunately, I haven't said anything about the skin itself. It's an old school skin, it costs only 520 RP, and it doesn't change any of the spell effects, have any new animations, but it's an Alice in Wonderland reference. We're going to set this into our B tier because I do like this a little better than Shaco's base look. Okay, here's the thing. A lot of Shaco's skins are, at the end of the day, pretty simple. I like giving each skin its own turn in the spotlight, but he honestly has a lot of skins, and not a ton of them do much. So we're going to do something I like to call the lightning round. I'm just going to rapid fire some rankings. I'll punch up the commentary as best I can for as long as I can, but we're going to start flying through a lot of these. Are we ready? No? Too bad. Pause the video if you'd like. Royal Shaco came out the same year as Mad Hatter and also only costs 520 RP, but doesn't have the same cool reference as Mad Hatter. It also doesn't change anything about the skin other than the look, and yes, the Jack in the Boxes also change depending on the skins. That's going to be the case for every skin going forward especially. I view this one as basically a chroma of the base look, and I like the red and black more, so this goes into C tier right behind the original. We're not starting out particularly strong, are we? Nutcracko also came out in 2010. Dear God, a champion got 3 skins that weren't release skins in the span of a year. 2023 could never. Prediction for 2024, Aurelian Soul is getting 2 skins. Bookmark this video, everyone, I want the credit first. Nutcracko is an insanely great name for Shaco, depending on how you pronounce it. I clearly go back and forth on it, and I do not know how to stop that, so here we are. You're just gonna have to bear with me. Any Shaco mains, tell me in the comments, is it Shaco, is it Shaco? I'm gonna keep going back and forth though. First skin that we have with some actual different particles. They're a nice blue color with some snowflake effects. I actually like the skin look-wise. It's so different from Shaco's normal look, but totally makes sense. It's only available to buy around Christmas, unfortunately, and for a skin based from a ballet, I would have liked a new dance. This one goes to the top of B tier for the time being. Next up, we have Workshop Shaco. It came out in 2011, costs 975 RP. It's a legacy skin, which means you can't buy it. But do you want to know why it's a legacy skin? Because it's garbage. The color scheme is atrocious. It feels like a bad, overpriced chroma. The only cool thing I found about the skin is that there are these cool little music note effects on his daggers as he throws it, but that's so minuscule and not enough to keep it out of D tier for me. It does not take a lot to get out of D tier because I generally love everything, so at least the skin remains in some pretty exclusive company. Asylum Shaco rounds out the Shaco skins in what I refer to as the early era of League. The skin is alright. It doesn't do much besides very slightly changing some spell effects. I like the colors of the skin, but this one also seems just like an expensive chroma. The only reason I like it at all is because this kind of reminds me of Joker in that one time. If you know, you know. This is going to go in B tier, right behind Nutcracko, but ahead of Mad Hatter. The first entry in what I like to refer to as the modern era of Shaco skins, we have Masked Shaco. I finally have a little more to talk about on this one, although not really by much. The skin is still over a decade old after all. It's actually a pretty significant model change, which means we've left the era of glorified chromas behind. The skin was released to commemorate the launch of the Korean League of Legends server and has a cool ancient Asian inspired feel to it. Probably my favorite looking skin so far, even though it doesn't change much besides that. It costs 975 RP and surprisingly isn't a legacy skin. According to the wiki, it has a new recall associated with it, but I didn't see that in the footage I found of it, so somebody else is going to have to comment on that for now. The skin is alright. I'm going to set it in B tier between Nutcracko and Asylum. Wildcard Shaco is the next skin we're going to talk about, and I actually like this skin set that it's involved in. Basing a skin off the suits in a deck of cards is just a really cool concept. Shaco has and honestly should have a lot of Joker references, and this is his second one. Just instead of a DC villain reference, it's, well, the Wildcard, the Joker, the Fool if you're into tarot. And just based off that cloud alone, I'm going to put it pretty high up in B tier, which is great because it doesn't exactly have much else going for it. I do really like how the daggers look, and I love the absolute mad lad, unhinged hairstyle he has going on as well. The 750 RP price tag also does it some favors, as it's a really solid, cheap skin. I'm going to set it right behind Nutcracko for now. It's no secret that one of my favorite skin lines of all time is the Darkstar line, and I'm so glad Shaco has one because this is something that Shaco desperately needed. The Darkstar line lends itself to so many easy opportunities to have incredible spell effects, which is something that Shaco desperately needed because this is the first skin we've talked about where he actually had some significant changes done to his effects. It's fun when both his daggers and Jack-in-the-Boxes are made of black holes. He has a voice filter on to make him sound more cosmic and nebulous and other space puns that aren't coming to me at the moment. We also have a ton of chromas to choose from if you're not crazy about the blue, purple, black combo that he has going on. Personally, I love the look of the skin just as it is, so doesn't apply to me. The skin looks so otherworldly and creepy in a great way that complements Shaco's aesthetic. This is also the first skin we've looked at that has a new recall, at least officially that I could see. As for ranking the skin, this is actually going to be our S tier skin for the video, which means it's my personal favorite Shaco skin. And I can't even pronounce the champion's name correctly because I have caught myself saying it differently every single time I've read his name. I thought giving away my S tier pretty early like this was going to be a problem, but honestly, we've looked at a lot of skins here and we still have a lot to look at. We're going to keep moving through them pretty quickly though. We are for sure out of the trenches here, thank God. Older champions get rough to review their skins for sometimes because they'll just have a ton of bad, outdated, or just plain mid skins. But hey, Shaco gets another skin from yet another incredible skin line with Arcanist Shaco. Arcanist? I don't know. These skins always have incredible spell effects that have these runic looks to them. Shaco himself looking like a deranged arcane trickster is just a really cool look for him. And this basically looks like an upgraded, more souped up version of Shaco's original look. I almost think of this as a modern remake of Shaco, complete with chromas, new animations, a new recall, a new voice filter. Great skin, no notes. It's actually going to be our first entry into A tier today. It's a modern skin, so it's pricier, costing at 1350 RP, but that's literally its only downside. Oh shit, I said no notes. Whoops! Next up, we have the Crime City Nightmare skin, and I just have to imagine this gave some people quite a strange sexual awakening looking at that splash art. I'm not here to judge. You do you. Don't feel weird about it. This is a cool looking, very sinister skin that boasts a lot with new effects, animations, and a new recall. Everything you'd want in a flashy new skin, including a new 1350 RP cost price tag, and chromas as well. Although, if I'm being completely honest, I like the black and white monochromatic look to the base of this skin. It really keeps up with that violent nightmare that is the skin. My favorite effect on this one is the absolutely crazy demonic look of his clone when he uses his ultimate. Kind of reminds me of Black Clover if I'm going to be a weeb about it. It looks crazy evil, and I'm completely here for it. One thing I do have to give to Riot as far as the quality of skins, though, is once you hit 2018, the quality of their work just went up crazily. I don't know what they did, but pretty much everything from 2018 and beyond is going to be a winner. Sometimes you'll get a dud every so often, but I don't really have a choice here but to put this in A tier. Winter Blessed Shaco is up next, and although I'm tempted to say this is a Christmas skin, it's actually not. It got released during December, although it's not in the vault, meaning you can go buy it any time of the year for $1,350 right now. I have to say, the skin is just lean looking. There are certain skins in League of Legends where it looks like the champions themselves have just ranked up to max level and are now running around late game armor. And this is that for Shaco for sure. It's just so shiny and new, and it comes complete with new endgame weapons. It just looks great. I feel like the wintry effects on his abilities that we got a glimpse of from Nutcracker have just been turned up to 11 with this new one. They've just been so souped up. These light blue effects are just so gorgeous and soothing to look at. Well, they would be soothing if you weren't listening to the constant cackling that is the demon clown. The skin is really great. I said it once, but I don't mind saying it again. Once you get to the last 5 years or so, it's so hard to keep skins out of A tier unless Riot just really drops the ball. Like not giving Yorick a hat, for example. Speaking of A tier, yeah, it's gonna go in A tier. Last but not least, but also not really last, it's gonna make sense here in a minute. We have Soul Fighter Shaco. His newest skin, at least by the time of me making this video, came out earlier this year and is a reference to the BlazBlue fighting games. I'm gonna be real honest. I'm not super familiar with these games. I'm not much of a fighting game player in general if we're discounting Smash Bros. I do know that they have a very comic booky, anime inspired look to them, and being a fan of the Persona games and the Ruby series, I know that they've done crossovers with them. I absolutely love the character design of the skin. It's so vivid looking with these strong pops of color and dark lines on the skin. The effects themselves are incredible, with even the effects on his auto attacks having these cool starburst pops of color that really just stand out. I love this manic, zany energy Shaco has to him. It fits him really well, and it gives him this wacky but dangerous vibe to him that is absolutely up Shaco's alley. You throw in new animations, a new recall, chromas, shiny new effects, and bing bang boom, you have an incredible skin. Honestly, it might just be recency bias, just a little bit, but I'm going to set this at the very tip top of A tier. Now, back to what I was saying at the start of this entry. The skin also has a prestige version of it. Prestige skins can be difficult to rank. Generally, I think they're on the same playing field as their normal version, but due to Mythic Essence being a much rarer resource than RP, I typically don't rank them as high. They're often released at the same time as an event, making it a fun little challenge to try and earn the skin throughout said event. But generally, that's quite a bit of work to do to unlock a skin that I honestly don't like as much as the normal Soul Fighter skin. I think ranking this one at the bottom of our A tier is fair for now. Faster pace of video this time, guys. I really hope that's okay with everyone. Shaco had a lot of skins, and I think I've been getting intimidated by champions with skins whose numbers reach into the double digits, but I think I like the idea of flying through the earlier skins, especially ones that came out in like 2010, 2011, stuff like that. And Shaco himself doesn't have a lot going on with like spell effects and stuff. I think being able to move through those entries fast is going to let me make videos at a faster clip. There wasn't a video last week. I am sorry for that. I just got exhausted from work. But I'm already excited about thinking of a theme for November, so keep on a lookout on Fridays for the video. Until I get into the rhythm of everything, they might keep coming out pretty late. Even this one I was working on right up until a few minutes ago, honestly. Tonight I even had to turn down going out to dinner with some friends, and because I promised and he gave me shit for it, Cray, my bad for not being able to come to Red Lobster, my guy. That's my fault, but I had work to do, so shout out to you. Thanks for being cool about it. Anyway, if you're still here after all this clown talk, like the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and hit the little doohickey that looks like a bell. You'll get a notification, sometimes, according to YouTube, and you can listen to this video on your way back from work, or while you're grinding out some ranked games, or whatever it is you do on a Friday night. Thanks again for watching. I've been Alex, and I will see you in the next one.